All right, guys. Late upload, but I had to, man. I had a very, very bad weekend. Of course, if you're Bama fans, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so I'm sorry. I was not going to do another video, or at least talk about my Bills, especially when they lost the way that they did. Um, I want to talk about Sean McDermott. I want to talk about Sean McDermott. Um, I'm just going to preference by saying this. Sean McDermott is a really good football coach. You can make an argument Sean McDermott is a top 10, maybe even a top 5 coach in the National Football League. This is a guy that continuously will win you 10 games, at least 10 to 11 games every single season. He's going to get you top-ranked defenses. We'll have below average to average players, and if they fit the scheme, we can turn them into Pro Bowl caliber players. Sean McDermott, his defensive prowess, his knowledge, his ability to be a kind of more of a master motivator, a guy that's respected generally in the locker room with the entire organization. Like McDermott's one of those guys that if he gets let go of, he'll get hired in 30 seconds, despite him being a quote unquote defensive head coach. He'll be hired in 30 seconds easily. But at some point when it comes to Sean McDermott, this dude just has limitations on him that continues to hold back this football team. And again, I'm not saying that. At this point, I'll just say it, guys. Listen. I'm the type of person that wanted McDermott gone. And I've wanted him gone for years. Not because I don't think he's good. Not because I don't think he can win a lot of games with the Buffalo Bills. Not because I think that he's going to eventually falter and the Bills are going to tank. No, I don't think that. Because McDermott, I don't believe that this dude is going to give us the Super Bowl championship. I just don't. And yesterday, once again, was when we talk about game management, when we talk about the usage of the clock, when we talk about situational football, he's just not good. Now, McDermott has had his moments where he's improved. I think the Kansas City Chiefs game was by far probably the best coaching job of his career in terms of managing the clock, in terms of situational football. But the fourth, I understand why on 4th and 5, on 4th and 7, I understood why he decided to take the holding call, because he wanted to get the Rams out of field position. But then you go ahead and you play quarters coverage, and not one person's, and you don't have anybody. Again, if you want to play quarters, that's fine. But the fact that you're not going to have anybody play man coverage is insane. Because when you play quarters and you give up the underneath, which was like maybe 5 to 10 yards from like the next player. When you look at the depth of how far these your linebackers and corners and safeties are going back, you gave up the underneath. Guess what happens? Guess what happens? It's 4th and 5, and not only did you put yourself in the same situation that you did when it was supposed to be 4th and 7, you wasted a minute left on you wasted damn near a minute. You wasted precious, valuable time that we could have had down the stretch. Then we have to take a look at, of course, the fact that you got the football back on the pass interference with 1 minute and 20 seconds left. Yes. Now, you could have kicked the field goal right there, and you could have honestly decided to kick the ball off, and you had 3 timeouts to see if you can get the 3 and out. Now, I understand why you went for the touchdown. That's fine, right? You went for the touchdown. I personally would have went for the field goal, but I understood why you went for the touchdown, because if you would have got the ball back, got the onside kick back, or maybe if you had more time left on the clock, you maybe could have got a 3 and out, and you could have got the ball back with maybe 30 seconds left on the clock, and see if you can get in field goal range in that instance. I get it. But the quarterback sneak, and then we had to use the damn timeout because of that. Now, I get it. Sean McDermott's not the one that called the play. I get it. But at some point, you have to, you got to get it checked. We have seen coaches talk about and been asked this question about, can you override a coach's decision? Do a head coach, do they get to know the play? Like in certain situations, and we've seen numerous head coaches from college to the NFL say that yes, they get the call. The offensive coordinator tells the call. There's a direct communication with the headset that they know exactly what's going to be called, and the head coach can step in and override the play call if they want to. We went for a quarterback sneak within the goal line, and we didn't get it. And we wasted precious seconds off the clock to a point where you had no choice but to use a timeout, because if you didn't, you weren't going to get any time back anyway to get the ball back. It's just, again, it's small instances. It's very small instances, but these are the type of instances that has literally cost us playoff games against the Kansas City Chiefs, not once but twice. How many games have we? How many? Again, I've been doing content on YouTube since 2019. How many times have I had to come on here, and some of these losses that we've had was a direct McDermott decision, or McDermott could have overruled the decision. How many times do we have to go through this? That these tight-knit games, this man just continues to crumble under the pressure when it comes to situational football, game management, or the ability to manage the clock. How many times do I have to make a video on this? And again, I'm not sitting up here and saying that McDermott can't coach. I'm not saying that he's not a really good football coach, because again, arguably, you can make an argument he's a top 5, maybe top 10 coach in the National Football League. But at some point, when is enough going to be enough? When is he going to learn from his mistakes? And what is he going to learn to be better? Didn't you take off from defensive play calling because you wanted to focus primarily on this aspect? We have people in the room that you hired that's supposed to help you out in these situations. And the misuse of timeouts, the misuse of the play clock, the misuse of situational football and play calling situations. How many times do we have to go through this shit? It's insane. Now again, Bobby Babich got his lunch money taken away. And honestly, Sean McDermott, you're a defensive head coach. We all know you have a pretty big part in the defensive game plan. So 4 points don't happen. If the punt block doesn't happen, yeah, this game would have been different. But how many times have we used this excuse that we've put all the blame on the defense, and we get into these close tight games, and yet a huge mistake that McDermott makes down the wire, we always try to excuse. How many times are we going to let this shit slide before eventually the fans which I'm already starting to see already, the fans are starting to get tired of this shit too. I've been tired of this shit since 2017 when we lost to the Jaguars in the wild card round. That's when I first saw that this shit was starting to happen. And he hasn't really improved ever since. He may have a moment here or two, but overall, do we get a general consensus of consistency? Fuck no. He may have one great game where he looks like he's improved in the area, and then the next game he'll shit the bed. Like, again, when are we going to get tired of this? Seriously. I don't know. It is what it is, guys. I just wanted to make this quick video. But this is the type of shit that when we get to the playoffs and you saw that your defense, even though it's good, they're not great. They're not great at all. You have weaknesses that if you go against a very, very good offense, this defense is capable of letting a bunch of points happen. Maybe not 40-something points, but eventually when we do get into a playoff game where Josh Allen does have to ball out and the score is going to be 24-27, or it's 30 or whatever or if it's a close, tight-knit game, we need McDermott to be on his P's and Q's. And quite frankly, I don't have the confidence that he's going to help this team out in tight-knit situations. I just don't.